Hey guys, I'm Josh. It's definitely been a challenging year, but it's been a year that's been worth it in the long run because I think in this year, more than anything, I've grown closer than I ever have to God. And I've had so many high God-filled moments and so many Holy Spirit encounters this year than I probably had in my entire 27 years that I can think of, which is awesome. I've been saved for the last 2.5 years almost, but over this last year, I haven't really felt him all that well. I always knew he was there, but I never actually physically. I feel like it's one thing to physically feel it, and it's a different thing to emotionally and spiritually feel it. But whenever you feel him and all three in one, it's such a powerful feeling because you begin to see things in lights you never saw them before. You begin to understand things on a whole nother scale. Things that used to always bug you and that used to always maybe irritate you don't really affect you anymore because you're living in a whole new life. You begin to see things from a whole new perspective, and you begin to see things from a whole new outlook on life, and it's physically incredible because you can actually physically feel the change in yourself, and you physically feel the change in your heart and your life and the way you see things and your mindset, and it's such a cool experience. And it's something that if you're lucky enough to actually catch the moment and you're lucky enough to actually catch yourself in that moment, because a lot of people, they have the moment, they don't realize that it's going on at the time, or they don't associate with that. But when you just take a step back and you just look at it and you realize man, God's at work right now, and it's such an awesome experience, such an incredible thing to experience, and I highly, highly encourage anyone to seek it out. I think for me, honestly, one of the bigger things I think of is whenever I used to live way out in the middle of nowhere, and it was just on the outskirts of town, and it was just I was kind of cut off from basically the whole civilization. And at the time, I couldn't understand the time, but God was setting up my path that whole time. Through living there, it made me understand a better perspective of how fortunate it was for me to have a better place in town, how all that. But also being out there gave me more time to sit and reflect and think of how I need to get myself out of the situation, how I need to make choices in my life to not be here anymore. And that part of that was I got into the situation by always drinking, because I was spending all my money on drinking. I couldn't afford to live anywhere else. Once I quit drinking, I was able to put up enough money to get me a place back in town. And getting a place back in town, I was able to get connected again with more involved with Hub City. Through getting more involved with Hub City, I was able to start going back to Tab and Nancy's. Through Tab and Nancy's, I was able to start going to Genesis Group. Through Genesis Group, I was able to meet my future next roommate, what's up, Brandon, and extremely excited for that new opportunity. And looking back, the whole process of me going out there and living out in the middle of nowhere, all that was God's leading me up to this moment here. God has a plan and a purpose for everything. We may not always see it at the time, and we may not always understand it at the time. But if you truly sit back and look back at your life over the last few years, you'll begin to connect the dots and see just how He was putting you on the journey and on the road to where you're at right now. And it's so cool the way He goes about connecting dots like that. It's so cool the way He goes about putting the puzzle pieces together and fitting them all perfectly into place. And I love it. If I never knew what it felt like to be broken and destroyed, I could never know what it felt like to be made whole. If I never knew what it felt like to be rejected and unwanted and unclaimed, I could never truly understand what it felt like to be loved.